Welcome, everyone. Our opening prayer. The energy of love is within us and is us. Whole and complete is the I am that we are. We awaken to the truth of our being. We will this be done within and without. May we come to recognize that we receive all that we give. We know that we have forgiven ourselves when we forgive others of all grievances held within our minds. May we not be led in temptation by the voice of separation, but instead may we transcend all illusions. For ours is the power of love and peace of Christ consciousness found within each of us, who is but the perfect extension of the one mind and heart that is shared by all and is our birthright as the holy extension of love itself. Our affirmation of faith. We believe in one God, the author and energy of all life, whose love sustains the universe and all things found within it. Our 5 Christ principles. Number 1, there is only one energy in the universe. That energy is love, at all times active in everyone, everywhere. 2, we are the divine energy of love, and that energy is found throughout the universe and in all things, whether seen or unseen. 3, we create our experiences by what we choose to think, feel, and believe, thereby establishing our responsibility for our own choices. 4, through opening our heart center, we connect with the energy of love and bring out the Christ within us. 5, we express our desire to be of service when we live and demonstrate Christ consciousness in all our affairs. And remember, God loves you like crazy.
Thank you, Miss Bobby. Hello, everybody. It is so good to see everybody here, and it's really good to see 2 friends who I haven't seen in a while. So thank you for being here. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you to those who will watch later in the week. Again, welcome to the Church of Christ Consciousness. We're here for those who are ready to live the truth of their being. Today, I have titled the talk, Control or Surrender. All right? So let's look at control and surrender. Recognize that control is the counterfeit of surrender. All right? It's the world's teaching of not wanting, actually, to surrender. Because surrender to the world is seen as something that is negative. In other words, when you surrender, the world teaches you lose. Like if you surrender, if one army surrenders to the opposing forces, the one that surrenders has lost the war. And none of us likes to, we don't like to lose. So we control, all right? And boy, do we control. We control, we manipulate, we try to make things happen so that we feel good about it, so that it turns out in our favor. And that's part of the problem. So I want you to recognize that control is based on expectation and attachment. You would not control if you didn't have an expectation of an outcome and you were attached to that outcome. Well, that right there tells you that you're going to ultimately end up suffering, because attachment is the root of all suffering. But we control and manipulate everything to try to get our way. That's what we're trying to do, is to get our way, all right? And part of this topic came up from something that happened with a friend of mine this past week. It's a female. And you all know that, tomorrow is April the 15th. It's tax day. Yay. Well, she went to go get her taxes done and all that fun stuff. And I've known her long enough to know she gets in the mood about mid-February. And it gets worse as it gets closer to April the 15th. She's always good about it. She always does what she needs to do. But she begins to try to look to control certain aspects. I kept saying to her, trust. There's something here if you will just look for it. She goes to her tax preparer, her accountant, does everything. And for the first time in years, she didn't have to pay taxes. Not only did she not have to pay taxes, she was getting money back, and it was enough to pay for the next quarters as well. So she owes, not only did she owe no tax, but the taxes she got back would now pay for the following quarter, meaning there's no outgo. And that is, as I said to her, a gift. That's a gift from the universe. And I'm not sure she recognized. I recognized in the story when she surrendered. When she just surrendered into it and said, it'll be what it will be, and she stopped judging it.
I was crying at the tax lady's office. Please tell them that.
You were crying.
I was livid.
Yes.
Extreme anxiety.
Yes.
Crying.
Yes. And then, boom. Absolutely different circumstance that she left with, that she never even thought possible. Never even dreamed that it was possible. But it happened. She called me from the parking lot, crying, because she was blown away that this could happen. She's in the car, hadn't even cranked it yet, and calls me, and she's crying to share the story. And from that story is how I realized control and surrender, what the topic. We've been taught, guys, we have been taught that surrender is bad, that we lose. Somehow we lose when we surrender, right? Yet, if you listen to the Spirit tells you to surrender is to win. The world teaches us that we lose when we surrender. So how is it that we win when we surrender? And remember, the keys to the kingdom. Surrender is one of the keys. Desire, intention, allowance, surrender. The keys to peace and maintaining peace within the kingdom, within ourselves, is allowance, embracing trust and surrender. So did you notice that allowance and surrender are keys to the heart and to keeping the peace within ourselves? Allowance and surrender. You cannot be in surrender mode without having allowed first. But if you are in control and manipulation, you're nowhere near allowing. So there's no way you can surrender. Because allowance is to be what? Control is to be attached to an outcome. That's why we try to control and manipulate all the pieces of the puzzle to get the achieved outcome that we want. Do you know what the problem is with that? We're telling the universe how to do its job. We're telling the universe how to do its job. Now, I don't know about y'all, but have you ever been backhanded by the universe? I have. And it's not pretty. not pretty to get backhanded by the universe. Because when you get backhanded by the universe, you know it. And it usually is one of those things that you have to pick yourself up off the ground because it hits you pretty hard, right? But when we surrender, it follows allowing, which means we haven't judged any aspect of an experience. We're not trying to control any aspect of the experience because we have not set any expectations or outcome on an experience. The moment that you expect something to happen, you're in control. You're telling the universe how the experience should unfold in your life. If we were really good at it, the universe might let us get away with it, but we're not. In fact, we suck, excuse my language. We are not good at controlling or manipulating anything. We think we're doing it for our best interest, when in fact, it's usually the worst thing we could do for ourselves. The universe has our back covered. It always does. God covers our back. He has our highest good, right, Bobby? He has our highest good at heart. Always, the universe cares. It has our highest good, always in its mind, its heart. And it will never fail. The ones who fail us is ourselves, because we try to control and manipulate what we think our highest good is. And half the time, more than half the time, more like 90% of the time, we have no idea what our best interest is for ourselves. None whatsoever. We think we do. But by the way, do you know what else goes with control and manipulation? Pride. Because if you truly believe that you know what's best for you, that's pride and arrogance. And most people don't think of it. They think that it's that if they can control and manipulate just right, that they can play the chess pieces just right and get what they want. Wow, how great they are. Most of the time, they have no idea what they've left on the board. And that's the problem. When you surrender, when you truly surrender, the hardest thing to hear, which is what I'm about to say, is you don't care what the outcome is. You no longer are attached to any portion of what an outcome to an experience will be. Will there be an outcome? Yes, we're in time. For all experiences have a beginning and they will have an end. The thing is not to get attached to any part of it. Just to simply, here comes the allowance, allow the experience to unfold in its natural course without trying to tell the universe how you want it in the end. Notice I said to tell the universe how you want it in the end. I didn't say what you wanted in the end, did I? How and what are different. How is the function, or how everything, in other words, gets put together to make the outcome. That's not our function. How is not our function. That's the job of God. That's the job of the universe. What is okay? Ask and you shall receive. So ask. But notice it says ask and not demand. And how many times do we demand the outcome and we don't even realize that we're demanding it? Which now brings up the next point. What is the difference between asking and demanding? Sure, you think you know. Demand, I demand. But if you tell the universe how to bring something about, you're demanding the universe bring it about in the way you choose. In the way that you choose. And when you when you decide, and what was funny is I was having this conversation with someone earlier, when you decide a choice, good for you. Good for you. The problem is, you do recognize that side, C-I-D-E, is to kill. You've killed every other option available because you've told the universe how it has to be. The problem is, the universe might see one of the other options as your highest good, but you've killed it. You've killed it because you decided. And because you decided, you killed the rest of it off. You can't have it because you asked for it and received as asked. When you made the decision, that was your ask. Oh yeah, I know. All of a sudden, when you make the decision, there's your ask. The universe says, yes, Master, thy will be done. And it kills off all this because you asked for it all to be killed, except for that one thing. And then you wonder, well, why did the universe not give it to you? Then you get on your pity pot. Because the pity pot can only give you your highest good. And if that's not your highest good, even though you decided on it, guess what? It can't give it to you because it's not in your highest good. So you become angry because you didn't get what you wanted. So you see the merry-go-round. You will never get off the merry-go-round until you let go, surrender, right? Until you surrender and you don't care. Because somewhere there's an infinite number of doors, which is an infinite number of possibilities, and one of them contains your highest good. But if you kill everything that's behind the door, you'll never get your highest good. But if you allow the universe to choose for you, guess what? You're always going to get what you desire. What's your highest good? It may look different than how you imagined. So what? You got your highest good. And from it, all things work out and then take you to the next best thing. We don't realize we're shooting ourselves in the foot, trying to tell the universe how to do its job, trying to control everything around us and manipulate it to make it fit and work. And we do nothing but hurt ourselves. So my question to each of you today is, are you ready to live your highest potential? Are you ready to live your realized potential? This brings me to the last point. Control, surrender. Because only through surrender can you reach your realized potential. I know those that are here will hear what I'm about to say. Those watching will hear. Some of you that will watch later, just be open to what you hear. If you really dig into the meaning of the word Christ, you will find it means realized potential. When you dig deep enough into the word, it's the realized potential. We all have the potential to be realized. We destroy that potential through control, manipulation, and thinking we know what's best. No. There is one within each one of us that knows the best. It is within us, as Jesus told us. It is the Christ. It is the one who knows. The Christ knows. We're not so good at it. But when we take the time, stop, and ask, what would you have me think? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? Who would you have me say it to? How would you have me do this? Notice the how would you have me do this? Every one of those questions brings you into surrender. You're saying, I don't know, you know, I think I'll let you guide me. And yesterday, I got to share with someone, and I often don't say it because I think a lot of people don't understand this. Jesus gave us 3 lessons. Only 3. Not a whole lot. Just 3 simple lessons. And the lessons were how to become our realized potential, our realized self. The first lesson, trust God. He gives us the hardest one to begin with. How do you trust that which you can't see? Well, you can't see. He told us you can't see it. You cannot observe the coming of the kingdom, for the kingdom lies within you. It is you. Trust God. The first lesson. Second lesson is clean house. And I don't mean clean the house, like your home. Yeah, I know it can need nasty every once in a while. You need to sweep it. He was talking about cleaning the house, and by the word, the word house actually means mind. When you look it up in the dictionary, clean the mind. How do you clean the mind? You forgive. Forgive. Remember, excuse me. Remember that nobody ever asked Jesus for forgiveness. He just forgave them. You're forgiven. Go in peace. You're forgiven. Sins are gone, all right? So I got him killed. Because he had the audacity to clean house. And then finally the third, which was really his entire life. And he said, I am the truth, the life, and the way. So trust God, clean house, and what is the third? The third is the way. And we all missed it. It's to serve. To serve God, to serve each other. To love, be compassionate, to care. Which takes us back to forgiving. And when we forgive, we're demonstrating God. Right here, in the moment. That's how you reach your realized potential. By the way, you can meditate for 23 and a half hours a day. Notice it didn't say that. He didn't tell us to do that. You can be on your knees and pray for 6.5 days every week. But that's not required. None of it is required. Yet we still try to control and manipulate how to become a realized self, to realize our full potential, and we missed everything he told us to do. To trust God, forgive, and to serve is to surrender. To surrender to what? The truth. That we are all interconnected. That we're all loved. That we're all equal. That's what we're surrendering to. We stop trying to control and manipulate by believing that we're better, that others are worse off, that all of this about it, in other words, we stop judging. We stop judging. And that's how we reach Christ. That's how we reach Christ. There's not this huge ladder that we have to, nothing, he said, nothing else but to trust God. And trust God comes from love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Because trust is the flip side of love. Trust God, which means you love him. Forgive everyone and everything. That's really the second commandment from Jesus. Love ye one another as you love yourself. In other words, forgive. Don't hold hurt where you think somebody has hurt you. That's not love. That's called a resentment. And to serve. We are God's hands. We are His work. But if we're in control and manipulation, we cannot do His work. It's impossible. We're trying to do our work. And nothing that we do can save ourselves. Zero. You can't save yourself like that, trying to fix or do something out here. This is what needs to be healed or needs to be saved. It's really healing. So when we serve each other, we're healing not only ourselves, but the other. There was a quote that came across my phone this morning, and I will end with it. Compassion. Compassion can be egoic or spiritual. If you try to join with a brother or sister in suffering, that's ego, because you are making the suffering a reality, and you will believe it's real, and then you will suffer along with them. To the spirit, compassion has nothing to do with suffering and everything to do with giving. To give the truth, to give love, to give the Christ, which is healing. That's compassion. That's true compassion, because it's giving from the heart. It is to see each other as whole, complete, and just as loved as you are. God loves us all equally, and don't ever let anybody tell you any different. No one is beneath us in God's eyes. No one is beneath you, and no one is above you. He loves us all equally. And by the way, He loves us all infinitely. We can't put His love in a box and call it, oh, this is your love. This is all the love you get. This is all the love you get. That's not God. That's not God. That's ego. And boy, we've listened to the ego enough. It is time to listen to the one who knows, the one that is within us and watches over us and cares for us, and only has asked 3 things. Trust God, clean house, forgive, and serve. Yes, which, by the way, honey, is love. That is love.
License plate.
Yes. And now I'm going to share why she called me. And thank you for reminding me. She got in the car, and you know how parking lots you can park, blah, blah. She took a photo of the license plate. She sent it to me, so I had to ask someone to read it, because I can't see it, right? Here's the license plate. G-O-D, it's Florida, the orange, F, space, J-Y. She recognized God, saw the God in it, saw the God in the license plate. And I said, honey, you've missed the other part. He said, you do know there's another whole part to that license plate, right? She said, no, I don't see it. I said, the orange is O, F, of, so you've got God of J-Y, joy, the God of joy. As she comes out of her accountant not having to pay, she was joyful. And there was the sign. That's the sign. There's the sign. I've given you the 3 signs that Jesus gave us. To be joyful. To live in peace. to be happy. Trust God, forgive, and serve. Not hard, is it? Why do we complicate it? And with that, I thank you for watching. Thank you all. And if you would, Miss Penny, bless her heart, has COVID. So as we go into meditation, I'm going to ask that you keep her in your thoughts, prayers. Surround her in light and love of healing. Is that cool? All right, if you would, just for a moment, place both feet on the floor. Let your shoulders be free. Let the tension go. Now, I want you to breathe in, breathe deep. And as you do, breathe in love. And on the exhale, breathe out trust. On the inhale, breathe in love. And on the exhale, peace. Once more, on the inhale, breathe in love. And on the exhale, joy. We are God's joy. We are God's joy. When we know it, when we live it, we're joyful and loving and trusting. When we know it, we stop trying to control and manipulate. And we surrender because we absolutely know with certainty we are always given our highest good when we stay out of the way. So as we go into the quiet time, I want you to reflect on surrender, on trusting God, forgiving all, and serving the universe. And as we bring our awareness back into this time, this space, this place, we do so truly with an open heart and love flowing and declaring that we are the reflection of God's perfect love, His peace, and His joy. Amen, y'all. All right. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for being here, those watching, those who will watch later in the week. If you would, silently say with me our closing prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I receive, all that I give. We give, receive, in love, through love, from love, because we are that love. Amen. Thank you guys for watching.
Think I got it?